Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a book that I've just finished reading, and I thought it would be really fun to do a little bit of a time lapse because of course I love illustrating, so I thought I'd combine both. In a recent vlog I was talking about planners, and I like to keep a note in my planner what I'm reading, but also the key plots. So I'm just going to go through with what I've put down in my planner. And the book I'm reading, I've just finished reading, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelly. Of course, these are only key plots. I've broken it down into 7 key plots to put in my diary, and I've also done 7 illustrations to go alongside them. So as we go through the time lapse, I'm going to read out just a few notes that I've made. Of course, if you don't want any spoilers on Frankenstein's book, then obviously don't listen to this bit. You can put it on silent because it gives you the whole story. Anyway, here we go. And so the key plots that I put down in my journal is number 1, Robert Walton meets Victor Frankenstein. Number 2, Frankenstein develops an obsession with science and creates his monster. Number 3, the monster kills William, but Justin is executed for it. Number 4, the monster and Frankenstein meet again. Number 5, the monster begs Frankenstein to create him a wife. Although Frankenstein agrees, he has second thoughts and destroys his new creation. Number 6, Frankenstein marries Elizabeth, but the monster murders her. Number 7, Frankenstein dies and the monster goes off to die. Robert Walton is writing a letter to his sister, and he tells her that he and his crew are on an exhibition to the North Pole when the ship suddenly runs aground on the ice. It is here that Robert Walton sees something strange. A large man on the back of a sledge pulled by dogs is pursued by a second dog-pulled sledge across the ice. After the large man escapes, Robert rescues the man, who he discovers to be Victor Frankenstein. He is close to death, but he tells Robert Walton of his tragic story and what happens when one man decides to play God, and the consequences of doing so. Frankenstein tells Walton of his passion for science and the curiosity which quickly changed into an obsession with death and bringing things back to life. His studies led him to creating a man from dead corpses and having an idea that lightning would bring him back to life. Frankenstein soon discovers, after the monster wakes up, he is repulsed at what he has done and runs away. The monster, lonely, shunned by society because of the way he looks, hides in a farmland barn where he observes a family and learns. He so wants to be part of their family and secretly helps them by chopping wood. But he makes the mistake of coming out from the shadows, and like before, the family are repulsed by his appearance and beats him away with a stick. Distraught, the creature decides to look for his creator, Frankenstein, but Frankenstein does not want anything to do with him. The creature accidentally kills Victor's younger brother, and the housemaid Justine is executed for the monster's crime. Frankenstein, knowing the truth, is beside himself and goes off on a long journey with his boyhood friend Henry Clerval. The monster soon catches up with Victor, only to plead with him to create a wife for him. He promises if he would do this, Victor would never see him again. Victor reluctantly agrees and goes off to the remote, Orkney Islands to create a mate for him. But after seeing another creation on his slab, he has a change of heart and burns his new creation before he brings it to life. The creature is enraged. All he wanted was someone to love him back. He tells Victor he will return on his wedding night. He avenges this treachery by killing Victor's friend Henry Clerval. Frankenstein is accused of his murder, but he is rescued by his father, who takes him home. After many months of fever, Victor at long last marries the love of his life, Elizabeth. But more tragedy happens when the creature, as promised, murders Elizabeth on their wedding night. With everything lost, Frankenstein now starts to hunt down the creature. He knows now he must destroy him before he kills again. Frankenstein tracks the creature northbound, and it seems this is what the creature desires. Both Frankenstein and the creature know this is the end for them both. The story comes to full circle when Victor asks the explorer, Robert Walton, to do what he cannot, as he is too ill, to destroy the creature. But as Victor dies, Robert is visited on board his stranded ship by the creature, who weeps at the sight of his creator, his father, and he tells Robert it is now time for him to die. And now we come to the final paragraph in the book, and I just wanted to read it to you. But soon, he cried, with sad and solemn enthusiasm, I shall die, and what I now feel be no longer felt. Soon these burning miseries will be extinct. I shall ascend my funeral pile triumphantly and exult in the agony of torturing flames. The light, that conflagration will fade away, my ashes will be swept into the sea by the winds. My spirit will sleep in peace, or if it thinks, it will not surely think thus farewell. He sprung from the cabin window as he said this, upon the ice raft which lay close to the vessel. He was soon borne away by the waves and lost in darkness and distance. The end. My interpretation of this book is one of sadness. Before I started reading Frankenstein, I didn't know what to expect. Well, I'd heard obviously lots of different interpretations of it, but reading the book and getting in depth within the words. I mean, Mary Shelley has written this book in 1818, so one thing that was putting me off reading it was her language obviously is a little bit floral, but once you get into it, the description is just absolutely breathtakingly wonderful. The creature obviously comes from Frankenstein. He is created from Frankenstein, and I just feel that there's a real tragedy about him. He didn't ask to be brought into this world, and Victor Frankenstein, who was obsessed with science, was just totally obsessed with bringing things back to life, and created this creature, and then was suddenly repulsed by him. The creature obviously was shunned by society because of the way that he looked, and it's really tragic, because all he wanted really was to be loved and to fit into society. So I was very saddened by this story, especially around the time when the creature was hiding away in the barn and watching the family. That to me was all he longed for, was to belong somewhere. Of course, when the creature came face to face with his creator, who he calls his father rejects him, and that is another shun for the creature. He asks his father to make himself a wife, so that he isn't alone, and he promises that he will go off and never to be seen again. But as Victor Frankenstein goes back on his word, the creature sees this as a great crime. It's treachery against him, and he turns and he seeks revenge. A lot of people, call him the monster because of this, because you can be badly done by, but he is absolutely beside himself, with enraged and fury, and he gets his revenge and kills off Victor's family, who in the end knows that he'll have to go and track down this creature before he keeps on killing. So the moral of the book is it's basically about what happens when one man decides to play God, and his actions ultimately lead to his downfall. Hope you've enjoyed this interpretation of my book. Hope you've enjoyed the illustrations, and I will see you soon.